Crusader fans, welcome to another edition of the Valpo Coaches Show, joined here this afternoon by Crusader football head coach Dale Carlson. Coach Carlson, thank you for being here today.
Great to be here, Aaron.
The Crusader football team on Saturday traveled out to San Diego, could not come out with the victory. The Crusaders scored a couple touchdowns against San Diego's first-string offense, but ultimately a couple early scores got them down quickly, and the Crusaders fell 51-14 to San Diego. And Coach, what did you see early on in that game that was different than the Duquesne game where your team was the one that got out to such a quick start versus San Diego getting out to such a quick start against you guys on Saturday?
Well, you know, Aaron, we made a lot of mistakes. After we reviewed the video on Sunday, it was evident that, our own miscues, missed tackles, turnovers, allowed them to get off to the quick start. And the thing that was frustrating, from a coaching perspective, is last year they physically dominated us, and this year that wasn't the case. And we just handed them some points early, and with a good football team, you can't do that. It's going to be hard to recover.
San Diego was a co-champion in the PFL last year and also picked to win the league this season, so obviously a tough way to start off the league season. There were a couple bright spots for the Crusaders in the game against the Toreros. One of them, the performance of redshirt sophomore wide receiver Fred Gladney. Gladney, a guy who redshirted his first year at Valpo, played sparingly last year as a freshman, but this year has really come into his own, had 9 catches for 125 yards against San Diego. And Coach, what is it about what he's done that's put him in a position to be so successful this season?
I would put it on one word, and it's attitude. Fred's attitude has been one that I'm going to work, I'm going to fight, I'm going to show that I deserve to be on the field. And, he got in the game at Youngstown in the second half, did some good things, and then was able to really have a nice performance against Duquesne 2 weeks ago, and then really stepped up this past Saturday against San Diego. And again, I think Fred really showed that determination and attitude that we're looking for from a guy who really wasn't even in the 2 deep when we started the season, and has really fought his way into the point where he was our go-to guy the last 2 weeks.
And then defensively for the Crusaders, junior defensive back Alex Grask has really been a bright spot so far this year. And against San Diego, again, 8 tackles leading the team. He's done that 3 times in 4 games this year, the team's defensive player of the week this week. And Coach, what has made him really the mainstay of that defense in the secondary?
Alex has been playing for us, off and on as a starter, really for the last 2 seasons plus this one. And in the exit interviews in the spring, one of the things Alex said to me is, Coach, I got to step up. I've got to be a leader. I really need to embrace that role. And as a coach, you really like to hear players say that instead of us asking them, to get into that position. He wanted to be in that position, and he came back to training camp and was clearly the leader, really, of our secondary, along with Porter, who was one of our senior captains. When Porter was injured, Alex approached Alex and said, you know what, I think you need to be our defensive captain. And so again, I think with the increased responsibility as really the leader of our defensive team, his play has really been at that level. We had some issues in the past with him missing tackles, not breaking as well on footballs that were thrown, and he's just worked incredibly hard to put himself in a position where he's making those plays. So Alex is, again, to me, it's a matter of attitude. He's shown that attitude that I'm determined, I'm going to get better, I want to lead this football team, I want to bring this program from where it's been to the next step, and that's why he's played as well as he has over the last 4 weeks.
Well, it's an interesting schedule for Valpo, as this Saturday the Crusaders have a bye weekend before facing Butler in 2 Saturdays on homecoming weekend. And Coach, with this kind of change in the routine, you get so set on, okay, Monday's an off day, this is how we practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we walk through on Friday before Saturday's game. When you have this bye week, obviously you want to take some time to try to heal the aches and pains, but do you approach it like a normal week except just without a game on Saturday, or do you give the guys an extra few days off leading up into next week and preparing for Butler?
We want to take the time to get some extra days to prepare for Butler, but we also want to let the players not only just recover physically just from the first 4 weeks, but also to physically recover from the San Diego trip. That's definitely a challenge when you have to go out to the West Coast to play, and as we did on Saturday night, we boarded a flight at 11:15 out of Los Angeles and landed in Chicago at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that's a grueling schedule. So, we're going to give the players a little bit more time off. We're going to spend a little time just going, our ones versus ones, not so much, what Butler does, but just trying to simulate, full speed in practice, letting him see that. We're also going to spend some time talking to each one of the players and just kind of giving them a mid-year report card, so to speak, kind of letting them know where they're at, what they need to do better, what we think that they've struggled with, and trying to use that as a groundwork, for them to improve their own skills and their own individual play, and to help us, get through the next 7 games with a little bit better preparation, a little bit better understanding, and hopefully with a little more success.
Looking ahead to that Butler game, what can you tell us about the Bulldogs? You probably haven't done a whole lot in terms of scouting yet, but what can you tell us about what they'll challenge the Crusaders?
They've got a very athletic quarterback, transfer from Illinois State. He redshirted for them last year, and he's from Lafayette, Indiana. Really, really good player. Nice arm, throws the ball well, can run with it. They've changed a little bit in terms of what they're doing in their offensive sets, but their idea is to try and get you with a little option play and then try and throw the football. Defensively, they're going to be aggressive, as they always are, mixing coverages, mixing fronts. So we're definitely going to have a challenge on our hands, with the Bulldogs. But what a great atmosphere it's going to be for homecoming. It's first weekend in October. The weather should be great. We've got the school from the south that we're going to play, and it's for the Hoosier Helmet. So what a great atmosphere. I hope we get a great crowd out here in 2 weeks.
As you said, homecoming Saturday, October 6th. 1 p.m. is the kickoff at Brownfield as the Crusaders take on Butler in the battle for the Hoosier Helmet. Coach Carlson, thank you for joining me here today.
Great, Aaron. Always glad to do it.
A reminder, you can follow the Crusader football team a number of ways online. On Twitter, follow the team at ValpoFB. On Facebook, search for Valpo Football. And follow Coach Carlson's blog at blogs.valpo.edu/football. Until next time, for Coach Carlson, I'm Aaron Leavitt. This has been the Valpo Coaches Show. Go Crusaders.